Ahoy there, my name's Beth and this is the story of how I renovated my 1904 Dutch sailing barge. This week, anything achieved in the winter is a bonus. So this week it's been really cold. It's been very cold for a while actually. It's been really icy a lot, and although the ice has melted now, but we've had like 3 times the basin is frozen over, which is not it doesn't happen that much. So yeah, I did a little update last week, but yeah, this week I'm doing really well. Everything, or my blood pressure and everything is reducing back to normal levels, so that's good, and just continue to look after myself. So but yeah, so this week I've got a few bits and bobs. We've got a bit of housekeeping to do, things that I've been doing in the last few weeks. So we're going to go from around about New Year's time to now. And then I've started properly on the hatch trim, on the surround for the hatch trim. So that's a good little project to get into. So at the moment I've kind of made the trim itself, but I also want to make another piece of glazing, if you like, with perspex in that will fit inside it, and that will seal it off nicely and stop condensation. So I'm going to continue with that next weekend. But yeah, so let's have a look what we've got so far. Oh, also, I've been practicing some Canal art painting while I've not been very well, and so I decided to paint my door. So let's have a look and see how that went. So to start off, I made a cross roughly where I wanted it to be and used an old film pot to make some circles, and then filled it in with some kind of freehand kind of elongated circles or leaf shapes. But I wasn't very happy with it being that sort of orientation, so I changed it so it was longer rather than taller. And then started painting in the backs of the roses in different colours. So this is a coral one-shot paint, and give it a little bit of a tint to give it some sort of 3 dimensions. Then do the same with the orange roses. And I gave those a little bit of a tint as well, just with a little bit of brown, just to give it a bit of a depth. And then the centre rose is going to be a red rose, but it's got a brown background and then a darker shade. Then I'm filling in here the backs of the daisies, and then I go over the leaf shapes. There are loads of ways of reorienting these and ordering them and putting different flowers in different places, but I quite like this orientation, so I kind of sketched it out and then I drew it in chalk on the door. I then went in and I put a little bit of shading at the bottom of the leaves. It's just to give it a bit of a 3-dimensional feel. Then I drew in what's called the cups, and it's kind of in the centre of the flower, but it's like a little cup shape with a saucer, or saucer shape with a cup. And then next I started to do the strokes, which are the kind of stylized representation of veins on leaves. I guess the art form isn't about replicating the leaves and the flowers exactly, but it's actually creating the feeling of them, and it's a really nice design. But they're also designed to be really quick to paint. I guess the people that were painting them back in the day didn't really have too much time to faff on, so simplicity, but also beauty. And then I start to do a little bit of shading in the daisies. Now I'm putting the petals on the flowers, so they're basically just sort of comma-shaped strokes, I guess. And you just build them up on top of each other. And then the petals for the daisies. So now I'm doing the yellow-orange roses as well, just exactly the same patterns. They're all actually tilted in different orientations just to give it a little bit more of a kind of life to it. And now I'm painting in the stamen and the little dots in the daisies. Now I'm doing the rose petals for the red rose, and then I'm using that red just to put a little dot in the daisy as well. Now I'm doing these really fine lines, and they're called tendrils, and they are, I guess they just add a little bit of kind of background to the piece. And then tiny little leaves, as if they're kind of new shoots. And there it is. This is how my door looks now. It's much prettier than it was. One of the first jobs I started working on this year was working on the hatch trim, and that was something that actually started last year. I cut the pieces of wood and then cut the back out of the pieces of wood as well, just to make them much lighter. But I needed to give them a bit of a sand because I wanted to start to put them together. These parts are the kind of trim around the hatch surround itself, so they're the ones that are kind of flush with the ceiling. And I've mitered the corners so they fit together into a square. It's hard to get a dust mask over the top of a bobble hat, but I think I've managed the technique there. So these parts are going to be the outside of the trim. And this is part of the main side section. You can see some of it's cut out at the bottom, and that's really just to make it lighter. I didn't want the full board up there because it's really heavy wood, so I used the table saw to cut some out. As soon as I have the pieces glued together, I can put some glue along the top. And then the trim pieces just sit in place. I'm not doing anything particularly clever to attach these pieces together, but I'm gluing them and I'm just fixing them with small pins. So we'll continue to work on this next week, but it's a good start. So thanks so much for sticking with me. It feels like since Christmas I've not really got much done, but yeah, as I said at the beginning, anything achieved in the winter is a bonus. So I'm not feeling too bad about it. I feel like I've got so much still to do, but I still can't help dreaming about what the boat's going to be like, and it's going to be beautiful. It's just going to take me a while to get there, By next winter I want to be much more sorted anyway. I want to be much more comfortable and sorted. So even if we're not finished by next winter, I want all this stuff in place. I want walls and systems and everything. So yeah, another year's hard work, and then we'll see where we are. Anyway, I'm sure you're going to stick with me, and I'll keep making these videos. But yeah, so I think that's about all we've got this week. So next week we'll continue to work on the hatch trim. I've sent the circuit diagram for my kind of inverted supply and all the multi-plus, the Victron systems and everything. I've sent that to a boat electrician just to check it over, make sure that I've not made any clangers, and so yeah, hopefully he'll get back to me soon. Otherwise, yeah, we'll start fitting that too soon too as well. So yeah, lots to do. We've got the time to do it, and yeah, thanks for sticking with me. So I hope wherever you are, you're warm and you're safe, and I'll see you next time.